So welcome, Darby, to the studio. How are things?
Hello, Keith. Hello, Tim. Lovely to see you on this lovely Geelong sunny day. How are we doing? All
now,
good?
I have to say, Darby's walked in here with a short sleeve T-shirt on, looking resplendent. But we're inside here and we're thinking, oh, where's my jacket? Where's my jacket?
Yes,
so cold.
it is a little bit chilly inside the studio building here, but outside it's a lovely sunny day. I think 20 degrees is the top today, so nice to have some good weather.
Absolutely, and towards the end of winter, spring's sort of in the air, and it is lovely to see. Trees are blooming. Anyway, Darby, you do the Friday Rewind program at the station here.
Yep.
But you've been involved in journalism for quite a long time. You're involved with. Tell us about
Six News.
Six News. So Six News came about back in the COVID pandemic about 5 years ago. I believe the year was 2020. And I was at home in lockdown. I was watching the nightly news. And there was a story on the news about a young Melbourne man by the name of Leonardo Puglisi, who was only 12 years old at the time. And this kid was so impressive. He had still has a YouTube channel. And, in the midst of COVID, he was posting weekly, news updates. And I go, wow, this is unreal. Really, really, like the graphics, the presentation, it was amazing. So I think the next day I got in touch and said, love your work. Is there any chance I could maybe get involved? I'm very interested in media. So I got in touch with Leo the next day, and within minutes I was on board. And ever since, I've been a member of the ever-growing Six News Australia team, which is exciting. So
he had Scott Morrison on for one. He had other high-profile ones, didn't he?
Yeah, well, over time, that's the thing about Six News. We started really, really small. Then, ever since the coronavirus pandemic, we've sort of built ourselves up and we've had high-profile interviews. You just mentioned there. I think in the space of a week, we had Scott Morrison and Anthony Albanese a couple of days later. This was like a week out from the federal election, and that really sort of catapulted Six News into the stratosphere.
So if someone wanted to listen to Six News, it's just an internet channel,
so it's an online outlet run entirely by young, aspiring, media broadcasters. We've got a team of, I'm going to say maybe 10, 12, I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but we've got reporters stationed all over Australia, in Melbourne, in Queensland. We've got an international correspondent, Wyatt Sharp, in Canada. He, chases politicians around America. So when Donald Trump inauguration, we had Wyatt Sharp outside the White House.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So...
that's just such a brilliant concept.
But it's so it's an online outlet. We all have, green sheets in our bedrooms. It's really DIY. And, just filming on the iPhone, and we put it together, do all the editing ourselves and put it up on social media.
So you get a collar and tie, and you sit up in your bedroom in front of the green wall. And
that's right. Well, actually, at my old house, I actually painted my bedroom green with chroma key green paint. But yeah, most of us just have like a green cloth and, stick it to the wall, and we've got a desk there and a makeshift teleprompter where we read the scripts when we're doing our bulletins.
So each person does their own editing.
So, well, at the moment, Six News is going through a bit of a phase at the moment. We have been doing bulletins for a long, long time, but now we're moving into a new phase of the digital era. So focusing a lot more on short form content. So for example, I'm doing a thing called Six News in 60 seconds. So reading the day's headlines in a minute, and that gets posted out onto platforms like Instagram and TikTok, really focusing on those short form clips for the social media digital age.
Yeah. To us as oldies, that's the huge change over the journey. You used to listen to a news broadcast every hour or even more frequently on some stations. The same headlines, the same news comes around each time.
Yeah. But before Six News, like going back to when I was a little lad, I would be sitting at home and I would put up a blanket and pretend to build a makeshift news set and, record with a little camera and pretend to be Peter Hitchener and record little news bulletins. So, yeah, going back to a young age, I've always admired the news presenters and always watching the 6 o'clock news. And, I guess being involved on 6 News, I've really sort of built my skills and, I'm doing pretty good with 6 News.
So where do you source your stories?
Yeah, so Leo does most of the script writing. We just go to the newspapers. Leo has his sources that he goes to. We do a lot of fact checking, making sure all of our stories are accurate and unbiased and everything like that. Leo does most of the scripting and then sort of sends it through, and then we just deliver it and present it to the audience.
Leo must be about 17 now.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, he's 17, 18.
Yeah.
But how does he sustain himself? Has he gone to school? Is he a student or what?
I think he must be in year 12 this year, year 11, year 12.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know how he does it, balancing school and balancing running a full-on news outlet as well. But he just seems to nail it and is really, really good at what he does.
So you do the same sort of thing. You're balancing a whole lot of things. You're at the Pulse.
Yeah.
You work with 6 News. You've also got jobs, haven't you? Tell us about those.
I work 2 jobs in customer service. One job at Zoos Victoria, down at the Werribee Zoo, and I love my job at Werribee Zoo. I've been there for about 4 years, because I'm from Werribee. I'm fairly new to the Geelong area, only moved down here late last year. So I've been working at Zoos Victoria out of school. I found a job at the Werribee Zoo. And I'm a visitor services officer, so I do a lot of customer relations, guest relations. So that's a great job. But closer to Geelong, I've got a second job, and this is a fairly new job that I've sort of picked up. But there's a brand new entertainment venue opening around the corner, mini golf, karaoke bar. And I have been doing content creation. So, walking down the street with a microphone and interviewing sort of Sam Newman street talk style. And I tell you what, those videos that we did, they're going very viral, getting a lot of views on TikTok and Instagram. So, yeah.
So what's the venue called?
It's called For Fun. For Fun.
Right.
So Fore,
right.
For Fun. It's on the corner of Murrabble and Ryrie Street. It's sort of, an old sort of building. But I was invited to the VIP launch party the other night, and it was, they've decked it out really, really well.
So is it backed by big financiers, like a lot of money involved? Or
Yeah, so I think the guy who runs it, Mike, he's a bit of an entrepreneur. He has a few local businesses, kebab shops and so on. So he had the idea of bringing, a fun night out to Geelong, and he's we're actually opening tomorrow on Friday. So yeah, I'm content creation for fun, and I think when it opens, I'll also do bits and pieces. I have the obviously customer service background at the zoo, so I might jump in and do some, guest hosting or night shift work, perhaps. So
the world is your oyster, really, isn't it? If you're comfortable having a go at stuff like that.
Yeah. I really enjoy customer service facing jobs, engaging with visitors, and I feel, the work I do at Zoos Victoria, it's such a rewarding job getting to meet and talk to people from all over the world who come into the zoo. It's a major tourist attraction. I really love working in customer service.
So you got into community radio at Bacchus Marsh. How did that start? What made you want to be a radio person?
Well, actually, when I first started, I think it was for year 10 work experience. So this was 2018, 2019. The first station I went to was in Wyndham, 88.9 Win FM, the station there in Wyndham. I had a bit of work experience there, a short stint, and then I discovered Bacchus Marsh, 3APL in Bacchus Marsh. So I went up there. They had a really great training program, got involved with Apple 98.5, and I was there for 5-6 years. I loved my time up in Bacchus Marsh. But when I moved to Geelong, looking at it, Bacchus Marsh is a little bit of a trek to go and do a radio show. And that's when I came across the Pulse. And it was actually my mum who suggested, why don't you see if there's some local stations here in Geelong? And I discovered the Pulse, came down and met Loretta, toured the studios. And I'm loving it here at the Pulse as well.
You did the intro to broadcasting course?
Yeah.
Yeah, so after meeting Loretta, I signed up to the Intro to Broadcasting course, and that was a really great program. Went for about, I think, 6 weeks, however many weeks it went for. But that was really good. Refreshing my skills and learning the. The first thing I noticed when I came into the Pulse, all of the panels and all of the equipment, it's so much more professional than what we had in Bacchus Marsh. So I had to do a refresher on the panel and even just getting back on the air. At that point, I hadn't been on the radio for some time, but I fell in love with the Pulse when I did the Intro to Broadcasting course, and then from then on in, I teamed up with Ehab Fahad from the Front Page team and sat in with him a couple of times on the Tuesday Front Page. And then I think Ehab had some university commitments and couldn't continue on with Friday Rewind. So I was asked then to step in and, take on Friday Rewind.
So that is how you've got to where you are now. Talking about the introduction to broadcasting, there is one coming up, isn't there, for anyone
Starts
out there?
Monday night,
listening?
and it's full, I'm pleased to say.
I'm no good advertising it because it's
but
full
the
up.
next one, I believe, starts on October the 20th.
Look, people are loving it, and for the last couple of years, there have been large numbers of people going through that course who end up doing programs at the station. You're not required to, but at the end of it, if you feel like it's something you enjoy doing, there's certainly opportunities.
I think, too, it's really laid out, the Intro to Broadcasting course. You have time in the studio, but there's also a lot of back-end stuff when you learn about, behind the scenes and editing and defamation and all the back-end stuff. So it's a really, intense couple of weeks, but you really get a lot out of it at the end of the program. So I recommend it to anyone interested.
Absolutely, because we did the course, Keith and I, as old-timers, in about 2021 when COVID was still around. Yeah. And we came out of that. Like the thing you get out of that is confidence to be able to have a go.
Great idea to do it with someone too. Takes the pressure off a bit. I've got tremendous admiration for people like Georgia. Started the Social Frequency 3 weeks ago, I think, and it's 5 o'clock on Wednesday nights. And she had Liam help with the first 2 nights, and then last night just went alone. So it's just brilliant. Just that degree of independence to be able to do that is quite extraordinary and very brave.
Oh, for sure. I might add, when I first came into the Pulse and I took a tour of the studio, I saw the TV studio room, and I'm going, whoa, this is unreal. And then I found out that back in the day, Channel 31, that we used to have a partnership with Channel 31, and I've also done a little bit of work with Channel 31 over the years, camera work and behind the scenes there in Melbourne. So
you just wonder whether any of that would we could get back to that.
Now, Darby, we've got you back into the studio here. You've come from Bacchus Marsh. You've come from your bedroom doing your TV reports, but you don't actually present a show. But I imagine, apart from, I'm downplaying the work in Friday Rewind, but you don't actually have your own show with guests. But I imagine your time commitments would be a bit difficult with you balancing your 2 jobs.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, there's some weeks when I'm not available to present Friday Rewind. I come in the night before, so Thursday, I'm here now. So after this interview, I'll do my editing and package up Friday Rewind. But there's some weeks where I may have a shift at the Werribee Zoo on the Friday and I can't come in. So I get, one of my good friends like Rob Cameron or Ehab to perhaps fill in. But it can be. But I seem to find the time, and being so close to the studio, living so close to the studio here in Geelong, I normally just make it down on the Thursday night and edit the show and get it all ready for Friday morning.
We don't even get into our first coffee before we get a text from Darby saying, "Who are we going to be replaying tomorrow?"
No, he's on the job. He does a great job. Now you talked about just one more thing about 6 News. It's been going long enough now that some of those people who have been involved may have gone on. Do you know of any who have gone on to bigger and better things, or?
Yeah, namely so before I came into Six News, there was Leo, and there was a guy by the name of Jack Hahn, and he's from somewhere in Sydney, and he's gone on to work for Channel 9, and I don't know if anyone watches the Today Show, but Jack is one of the main correspondents in Sydney for the Channel 9 Today Show. So, yeah, he's definitely doing big things at 9, but even Connor L. 4K at Channel 7 up in Brisbane, and yeah, so there's been quite a fair few, former Six News reporters going on to big things in the media industry.
So what about yourself? Can you see yourself having a life out of broadcasting or out of journalism?
Well, I think my ultimate goal is to work in broadcast media. When that is, I'm not too sure. But in the meantime, I'm just sort of building on my experience and, gaining new skills. But hopefully one day I might land a job in either radio or TV. That's the thing. I love both forms of broadcast media. You know, whenever there's a TV show in town, I love going and sitting in the studio audiences and seeing, all the behind the scenes and the cameras and stuff.
It's your wheelhouse, isn't it?
Yeah. So hopefully one day a career in either radio or TV. But for the time being, I'm just, quite happy, being involved in community radio. I think, too, being involved in a station like The Pulse, it's really unique because Geelong is such a great place to live, and there's so much going on, and being on community radio, you really get that opportunity to speak to some really unique people, community leaders and other people in the community. So
that's right.
Yeah.
And we love the fact that we can you can contact pretty much anyone and ask them whether they'd like to come in and have a chat.
Yeah, that's right.
Often they say yes, sometimes they say no, but we just keep knocking on doors, don't we? And so there are options. There are options for you, and we do encourage you to continue on. We'd like to follow your progress.
Thank you very much. Yeah, appreciate that. I'm very keen on media, and it's a great privilege to be able to get involved in community radio and do these sorts of things. And in the meantime, I'm just going to keep going with my customer service work, but down the track, hopefully, something might come up and land a gig in commercial media.
Good on you, Darby. Thank you very much for coming in. We've loved having a chat to you. We've learnt a lot, and we'll be tuned in tomorrow.